The massive alien ships darkened the sky over New York City. Their metal hulls gleamed like polished steel in the morning sun, stretching for miles across the horizon. Commander James Walker stood on the roof of the United Nations building, watching the invasion fleet through his binoculars. His hands were steady, even though his heart beat faster than usual. "Sir, they're broadcasting a message," his radio operator said, voice shaking slightly. "They're demanding our immediate surrender." Walker lowered his binoculars and smiled. "Tell them what we always tell invaders. Come and try." The alien ships had appeared 3 days ago, positioning themselves over major cities across Earth. Their technology was far beyond anything humans had ever seen. According to their message, they had conquered over 30 different civilizations, and Earth was just another target on their list. The first attack came at exactly noon. Green beams of light shot down from the ships, sweeping across the streets. Walker and his soldiers braced themselves, expecting death or pain. Instead, they felt only a mild tingling sensation, like static electricity on a dry day. "Sir," Lieutenant Rogers looked at his hands in confusion. "I feel funny, but I'm fine." Walker touched his own arm where the beam had hit him. "Everyone report. Any casualties?" "None, sir. We're all okay." "Just a tickle, Commander." The alien weapons continued firing, their beams growing more intense. The streets filled with green light, but the humans stood their ground. Some soldiers even started laughing, the tension breaking as they realized the weapons couldn't hurt them. High above, the alien ships suddenly stopped firing. Walker could almost imagine their confusion. Through his binoculars, he watched their weapon ports opening and closing, trying different settings. His radio crackled. "Commander, we're picking up their communications. They're panicking." The alien language translator kicked in, and Walker heard their frantic voices. "The neural disruptors have no effect." "Impossible. These weapons work on all living beings." "Increase power to maximum." "Nothing. They're still standing." "What are these creatures?" A new beam, this one bright red, struck the ground. It left scorch marks on the concrete, but didn't harm a single human. More weapons fired. Blue ones that froze the air, purple ones that distorted gravity, and golden ones that were supposed to stop time itself. None of them worked on the humans. Walker picked up his radio and broadcast on all frequencies. "This is Commander James Walker of Earth's Defense Force. As you can see, your weapons are useless against us. Would you like to discuss terms of peace instead?" The alien ships hung in the air for several long moments. Then, one by one, they began to retreat. Their engines glowed bright blue as they pulled back, moving higher into the atmosphere. "Sir," the radio operator called out. "They're sending one last message." The translator converted it. You are not natural. This is impossible. The Council must know about this. We will return." Within minutes, the ships disappeared into space, leaving Earth's sky clear and blue once again. The streets filled with cheering people, celebrating humanity's first victory against alien invaders. Walker sat down heavily in his command chair, his mind racing. Why hadn't their weapons worked? What made humans different from the other species they had conquered? And who was this council they mentioned? He picked up his secure phone and dialed the president's number. "Ma'am, you're not going to believe what just happened. But more importantly, I think we need to prepare. This isn't over. Something tells me we've just drawn the attention of the entire galaxy." As he looked out over the celebrating city, Walker couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. Humanity had passed its first test against alien invaders, but the real challenges were yet to come. The stars above seemed different now, no longer just distant lights, but a frontier filled with mysteries about human nature itself. Dr. Emma Reed stared at the brain scan results on her computer screen. After 3 weeks of non-stop testing, she finally had proof of something incredible. The door to her laboratory opened, and Commander Walker stepped in, followed by 2 alien scientists. "Dr. Reed, Walker said, "Our guests have traveled quite far to see your findings." The aliens were tall and thin, with blue-tinted skin that seemed to shimmer under the lab lights. They moved with careful grace, their large eyes fixed on the human scientist. "Thank you for coming," Emma said, standing up. "What I've discovered will change everything we thought we knew about human biology." She pressed a button, and a hologram appeared in the center of the room. It showed two neural networks, one human and one alien. The difference was immediately clear, even to untrained eyes. "Look at the pattern," she explained, using a laser pointer. "Every other species we've studied has neural pathways that form in straight lines, but human neurons create spiral patterns, almost like tiny shields." The taller alien, who had introduced himself as lead researcher Dell, stepped closer to the hologram. "Fascinating. And this is present in all humans. Every single one we've tested," Emma confirmed. "When your weapons hit these spiral patterns, the energy doesn't disrupt our nervous system. It gets dispersed and transformed into harmless electrical signals. That's why humans only feel a tingling sensation." Walker crossed his arms. "Could this be natural evolution?" Emma shook her head. "The odds against this developing naturally are astronomical. These patterns are too perfect, too uniform across all human populations." The second alien scientist pulled out a device that looked like a silver pen. "With your permission, we would like to test something." He pointed the device at a potted plant on Emma's desk. A beam of light shot out, and the plant instantly withered. "This is our most basic weapon," he explained. "It disrupts the life force of any living thing." He turned to Emma. "Would you volunteer?" Emma looked at Walker, who nodded. She stepped forward, and the alien activated the weapon. The beam struck her arm, causing nothing more than a slight warmth. "Remarkable," Dal whispered. "In all my centuries of research, I've never seen anything like this. The Galactic Council must be informed immediately." Emma turned back to her computer and pulled up more data. "There's something else. We've detected dormant sections in human DNA that don't match any known genetic patterns. It's as if..." "As if what?" Walker asked. "As if they're waiting to be activated," she finished. "Like backup systems in a computer." The aliens exchanged meaningful looks. Dal spoke carefully. "There are legends among the older species about the predecessors, beings who seeded the galaxy with life. But they vanished millions of years ago, leaving only fragments of their technology behind." Emma's eyes widened. "Are you suggesting that humans might be their final creation?" "Yes." Dal moved to the window, looking out at the city. "But why? Why create a species immune to all weapons?" Walker's phone buzzed. He read the message and his face turned serious. "We may find out soon. More alien ships have been detected entering our solar system. A lot more." Emma quickly saved her data to a secure server. "How much time do we have?" "Hours, maybe less." Walker turned to the alien scientists. "Will you help us? Your weapons expertise combined with our immunity, we could protect both our peoples." The aliens conferred quietly, then Dal nodded. "The predecessors clearly had a plan for humanity. Perhaps it's time we discovered what it was. We will help." As emergency sirens began to sound across the city, Emma looked at her computer screen one last time. The human neural patterns seemed to pulse with new meaning now. They weren't just a defensive mechanism. They were a message from the past, waiting to be understood. The real question wasn't why humans were immune to weapons. The question was, what were they designed to become? Captain Thomas Miller stood on the bridge of Earth's first interstellar ship, the Defender, watching alien warships explode in silence. Not from human weapons. They hadn't fired a single shot. The alien ships were destroying each other, their weapons passing harmlessly through the human vessel. "Status report." He called out to his crew. "Sir, the Krill fleet is still firing at us." Lieutenant Adams reported from her station. "Their weapons are bouncing off our hull and hitting their own ships instead." Miller nodded. Just 3 months after the failed invasion of Earth, humans had become the most sought-after peacekeepers in the galaxy. Their ship, though simple by alien standards, was practically invincible thanks to the human crew aboard. Incoming transmission from the Krill flagship, Adams announced. The main screen lit up, showing the insect-like face of the Krill commander. "We surrender. Please, make it stop." Miller stepped forward. "Power down your weapons, and we'll help rescue your surviving crews." As the alien ships went dark, Miller thought back to how quickly things had changed. After news spread about humanity's immunity to weapons, dozens of alien species had approached Earth for protection. The Galactic Council, once dismissive of humans as primitives, now treated Earth as a major power. His communications officer spoke up. "Captain, we're receiving a priority message from Earth. The Council is requesting human peacekeepers for 3 more sectors." "Already?" Miller rubbed his chin. "We barely have enough ships to cover our current assignments." The bridge door opened, and Dr. Reed walked in. She had insisted on joining this mission to study how human immunity worked in space. "Captain, you need to see this data." She pulled up a hologram showing the crew's neural patterns. "Our immunity is getting stronger. The more we're exposed to alien weapons, the more powerful our protection becomes. It's like our bodies are learning." Before Miller could respond, alarms blared across the bridge. Multiple ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel. Adams called out. They're refugee ships, hundreds of them. The space around them, filled with vessels of all shapes and sizes. Many were damaged, some barely flying. Their transmissions flooded the communication channels. "Please help us. The Empire is destroying our worlds. We seek human protection." Miller straightened his uniform. "Send our coordinates to Earth. We're going to need more ships out here." He turned to his crew. "Begin rescue operations. Priority to the most damaged vessels." As his crew worked to save the refugees, Miller received a private message from Earth Command. The hologram of Commander Walker appeared on his desk. "Tom, the situation is escalating faster than we expected," Walker said. "Some of the older empires are collapsing. They ruled through fear of their weapons. And now that their weapons don't work on us, everyone they oppressed is running to Earth for help," Miller finished. Walker nodded. "The Council is calling an emergency session. They want to make Earth the official peacekeeping force for the galaxy. Are we ready for that kind of responsibility?" Miller looked out at the refugee ships his crew was helping. "Ready or not, we have to try. These people need us." Dr. Reed, who had been analyzing more data, suddenly spoke up. "Captain, Commander, there's something else. The refugee ships, their weapons stopped working completely when they approached us. It's like our immunity is spreading." Walker's hologram flickered. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying the humans aren't just immune to weapons," Reed explained, her voice filled with wonder. "We're changing how they work, or rather, how they don't work. It's like we're a galaxy-wide off switch for violence." Miller watched as more refugee ships appeared in the distance. The stars seemed brighter somehow, as if the galaxy itself was changing. Humanity had moved from being Earth's dominant species to becoming the galaxy's protectors in just a few months. But as he looked at the desperate faces of the refugees on his screens, he knew their journey was just beginning. The real challenge wouldn't be stopping weapons. It would be bringing peace to a galaxy that had known only war for millions of years. Professor Robert Wilson's hands shook as he studied the ancient stone tablet. After 6 weeks of digging beneath the ice of Antarctica, his team had found something impossible. An alien research station millions of years old. "Professor," his assistant ran into the heated tent, carrying a glowing device. "The power crystal worked. We got the computer running." Wilson carefully placed the tablet down and hurried to the main excavation chamber. The walls, made of an unknown metal, hummed with renewed energy. Holographic symbols filled the air, casting blue light across the faces of amazed researchers. Dr. Reed and Commander Walker had flown in from Earth Command as soon as Wilson reported his first findings. They stood before the largest hologram, which showed a DNA strand spinning slowly. "Can you read it?" Walker asked the alien archaeologist they'd brought with them. The archaeologist, a member of one of the galaxy's oldest species, nodded slowly. "These are predecessor writings. This was their main research facility." Wilson stepped forward, his breath visible in the cold air. "Tell them what we found in the translation." The archaeologist's 4 eyes blinked nervously. According to these records, the predecessors didn't just disappear. They had a plan. He paused, looking at the humans. "They created you." Dr. Reed moved closer to the DNA hologram. "Created us? How?" "The predecessors saw the future," the archaeologist continued. "They saw endless wars, weapons that could destroy galaxies. They spent thousands of years developing a solution, a species that could end the cycle of violence." Walker frowned. "Humans. Yes. They took early Earth primates and modified them, adding special sequences to their DNA, sequences that would make them immune to any weapon technology. But that wasn't all." Wilson pulled out the stone tablet he'd been studying. The modifications were just the beginning. Each generation of humans would be slightly different, building on the changes that came before. Dr. Reed's eyes widened. "That's why our immunity is getting stronger. We're still evolving, still following their program." The archaeologist nodded. "The predecessors knew they couldn't survive to see their plan completed. Their own weapons had become too powerful, so they left you, their final creation, to grow and develop naturally." Suddenly, the facility's computer projected a new image, a map of the galaxy, with Earth at its center. Points of light spread out from it like ripples in a pond. "What are we seeing?" Walker asked. "The spread of the weapon immunity effect," Dr. Reed said, checking her instruments. "It's exactly like we observed on the Defender. Humans aren't just immune. We're changing the fundamental laws that make weapons work." Wilson studied the ancient writings scrolling past. The predecessors didn't just want to protect one species. They wanted to change how the entire galaxy worked. And they designed humans to be the key. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity wasn't just another species that happened to be immune to weapons. They were purpose-built guardians created to bring peace to the galaxy. Walker's communicator beeped, breaking the silence. "Sir," a voice said, "we're getting reports from across the galaxy. Weapon systems are failing everywhere, not just against humans. They're just stopping." The archaeologist touched the stone walls reverently. "It's happening faster than they predicted. The predecessors thought this would take thousands more years." "Maybe they didn't count on us building starships," Reed suggested. "By spreading through the galaxy, we're accelerating the effect." Wilson looked at the DNA hologram again. "There's more in these records. Things about human potential that we haven't even discovered yet. The weapon immunity. It might just be the beginning." As if in response, the facility's lights pulsed brighter. The holographic displays showed more DNA sequences, more plans, more mysteries waiting to be solved. Walker looked around at the ancient laboratory, where humanity's true history had been hidden for millions of years. "So now we know what we are," he said quietly. "The question is, what do we do with this knowledge?" The answer seemed to hang in the air with the glowing symbols. Humanity's journey was far from over. It was just beginning to understand its true purpose in the grand design of the galaxy. General Anna Foster watched the test footage for the 10th time. On her screen, a coalition of alien scientists fired their newest weapon at a human volunteer. Instead of the usual nothing, something different happened. The soldier stumbled back, feeling actual discomfort. "Play it again," she ordered. Behind her, Dr. Reed and Commander Walker exchanged worried looks. The footage repeated. The alien weapon, a combination of 5 different technologies, fired its purple beam. The soldier stumbled. But then, something unexpected happened. He straightened up, and his skin began to glow faintly. "Stop," Foster turned to face the others in Earth Command's main conference room. How many more of these weapons are they testing? Dr. Reed checked her tablet. We've detected 20 different research stations. They're calling themselves the Protection Coalition, species who think we're too dangerous to let exist. Walker stepped forward. But the weapons aren't working as they hoped. Every time they try something new, we adapt, Reed finished. And not just adapt, we get stronger. The soldier in that video, his cellular structure changed after the blast. He's now completely immune to that specific weapon combination. The room's main screen lit up with an emergency transmission. Captain Miller's face appeared, looking concerned. General, we've got movement out here. The coalition is gathering their fleets. Thousands of ships. Foster stood up. Location: the Omega sector. They're not even trying to hide it. Miller's image flickered. But there's something else. Some of their ships, they're different, using tech we've never seen before. Dr. Reed pulled up her latest data. General, you need to see this. Each time they test a new weapon on us, our DNA shows more activity in those dormant sequences the predecessors engineered. It's like we're waking up, Walker said quietly. Foster walked to the window, looking out at the Earth below. In just 6 months, humanity had gone from a single-planet species to the most powerful force in the galaxy. And now, for the first time, they faced an enemy that might actually be able to hurt them. The room's lights dimmed as a new hologram appeared, a real-time view of the Coalition fleet. The ships were massive, bristling with strange new weapons, but something else caught Foster's attention. Doctor, she pointed at the image. What are those energy readings? Reed analyzed the data. Her eyes widened. They're not just building weapons to hurt us. They're trying to undo what the predecessors did, to change our DNA back to its original form. Walker slammed his fist on the table. Can they do that? No, a new voice said. Everyone turned to see the alien archaeologist entering the room. The predecessors made sure their changes could never be reversed, but the Coalition's attempts to do so. He paused, looking troubled. What? Foster demanded. They might trigger the next phase of your evolution. The predecessors left instructions in your DNA, emergency protocols, if anything tried to undo their work. As if on cue, reports started flooding in from human ships across the galaxy. Captain Miller's voice came through again. General, our crews, something's happening to them. Their skin, their eyes, they're changing. Dr. Reed's instruments were going crazy. The dormant DNA sequences are activating. All of them. Whatever the Coalition is planning, they've just triggered humanity's next step. Foster looked at the tactical display. The Coalition fleet would reach Earth in less than a day. But now, facing the first real threat since gaining their power, humanity wasn't showing fear. They were transforming. Send word to all commands, Foster ordered. Tell our people not to resist the changes. The predecessors built us for this moment. She turned to face her team, her own eyes beginning to shine with a new, strange light. The Coalition wanted to force our evolution. Fine. Let's show them what humans can really become. Above Earth, the stars seemed to pulse with anticipation. The coming battle wouldn't just be about weapons anymore. It would determine humanity's final form and the future of the entire galaxy. Light poured from every human on Earth and across the stars. Dr. Reed watched through the command center's windows as people rose into the air, their bodies glowing with golden energy. Her own skin shimmered as the changes spread through her. The readings are off the charts, she said, her voice echoing strangely. The predecessors' dormant genes, they're all activating at once. General Foster floated near the ceiling, her uniform radiating with the same golden light. The Coalition fleet was visible now, their ships darkening the sky like storm clouds. But no one in the room felt afraid. Doctor, Foster called out, what exactly are we becoming? Before Reed could answer, Commander Walker burst into the room. His eyes glowed like stars, and patterns of light moved beneath his skin. You need to see this, he said, activating the main screen. The display showed scenes from across the galaxy. On every human ship in every human colony, the same transformation was happening. But there was more. Alien weapons weren't just failing now. They were disappearing, dissolving into light that flowed into the transformed humans. It's like we're absorbing the energy, Reed said, understanding flowing through her enhanced mind. The predecessors didn't just make us immune to weapons. They made us into living weapon suppressors. Captain Miller's ship appeared on screen. His crew floated around him, all transformed, as coalition ships fired uselessly at them. "General," he reported, "their weapons are being pulled apart at the atomic level. The energy, it's becoming part of us." The archaeologist, watching from a protected corner, spoke up. "The records we found, they didn't tell us everything. The predecessors didn't just want to stop weapons. They wanted to create beings who could transform the energy of violence into something else." As if proving his words, the golden light flowing through the humans began to change color, shifting through a rainbow of hues. Where it touched the building's structure, plants began to grow. The air became cleaner. Even the sky seemed bluer. "We're not just stopping destruction," Reed realized. "We're turning it into creation." The Coalition fleet launched their DNA-altering weapon, a massive burst of energy meant to undo the predecessor's work. Instead, the blast split apart, flowing into every transformed human like streams of light. Each person grew brighter, their awareness expanding. Foster raised her hand, and suddenly she could see everything. Every ship, every weapon, every scared alien soldier. But more than that, she could feel their thoughts, their fears. "They're afraid," she said softly. "Not just of us, but of losing their power, their way of life." She turned to her team. Maybe that's what the predecessors really wanted, not just to stop weapons, but to help everyone understand each other. Reed's instruments showed impossible readings as human consciousness expanded beyond physical limits. They could sense each other across vast distances, sharing thoughts, feelings, and memories. The golden light connected them all in a web of understanding. Walker touched the wall, and more plants sprouted under his fingers. "We're not just changing ourselves," he said. "We're changing reality itself." The Coalition ships hung motionless in space as their weapons dissolved. On board, alien crews watched in awe as the humans' transformation spread. The light touched their ships, not destroying them, but changing them. Weapons became gardens, artillery turned into art. Their receding images, Miller reported from his ship, memories of Earth's wars, our mistakes, and how we learned from them. The predecessors didn't just give us powers. They gave us the wisdom of all our ancestors. Foster looked at her transformed team, their bodies now more light than matter. "Send a message to the Coalition," she said. "Tell them we understand their fear, but we're not here to conquer or control." She smiled as new knowledge flowed through her. "We're here to show them a better way." The light continued to spread, and with it, a new kind of peace, not enforced by weapons or fear, but grown from understanding. The galaxy watched as humanity took its first steps into an existence beyond anything they had imagined. 1 year after humanity's transformation, the galaxy had changed beyond recognition. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council floated in space, its walls made of living crystal that grew and shifted like clouds. Inside, beings from 1,000 worlds gathered to celebrate the first anniversary of the Great Peace. General Foster, her form still radiating gentle golden light, stood at the center of the hall. Around her, transformed humans mingled with aliens, their thoughts and emotions flowing freely through the air like colors in an aurora. "The last weapon in the galaxy was transformed yesterday," she announced, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. "The age of violence is officially over." Dr. Reed, who now spent her time teaching alien children how to grow gardens from pure energy, stepped forward. The data streams flowing around her told the story of their year's work. Millions of worlds healed, ancient battlefields turned into forests, and warships reformed into floating cities. But the physical changes were just the beginning, she said, sharing her memories with the gathered species. The real transformation was in how we all began to understand each other. Commander Walker appeared next to them, his presence rippling through the hall like a warm breeze. Through their shared consciousness, everyone present could see the images he carried. Former enemies learning to work together, coalition soldiers becoming peacekeepers, and children from different species playing in fields of light. Captain Miller's ship, now a living garden that sailed through space, appeared in the crystal walls. The predecessors gave us more than just immunity to weapons, his voice echoed. They gave us the power to help others grow beyond their fears. The alien archaeologist, who had witnessed humanity's first discovery of their true nature, addressed the council. In all our histories, we thought power meant the ability to destroy. The humans showed us that real power is the ability to transform, to create, to understand. Foster raised her hand, and the hall's walls became transparent, revealing the galaxy around them. Streams of golden light connected worlds that had once been bitter enemies. Where weapon factories had stood, new suns now burned, their energy nurturing young civilizations. But our work isn't finished, Foster said. The predecessors didn't design us to be rulers or gods. They made us to be guides, teachers, protectors. She turned to face the council. There are still stars to explore, species to meet, and lessons to learn. Dr. Reed's instruments, now part of her transformed consciousness, detected new patterns forming in human DNA. We're still evolving, she shared with the gathering. And so is everyone else. The predecessors didn't want us to enforce peace. They wanted us to help the galaxy learn to grow together. Through their connected minds, everyone present could feel the truth of her words. Humanity's transformation hadn't stopped with them. It had sparked changes in every species, awakening new possibilities, new ways of thinking, new ways of being. Walker smiled as reports flowed in from across space. New discoveries, new friendships, new forms of art and science born from cooperation instead of competition. We didn't just end war, he said. We helped create something better. The council chamber filled with light as beings from every world shared their hopes, their dreams, their visions of the future. The humans present felt the joy of their success, but also the weight of their continuing responsibility. Foster looked out at the endless stars, seeing not darkness between them now, but connections, possibilities, and hope. The predecessors trusted us with the galaxy's future, she said softly. Now it's our job to help that future grow. As if in response, the golden light pulsed brighter, and new flowers bloomed in the council chamber's crystal walls. The gathered beings joined hands, tentacles, and energy fields, their unified consciousness reaching out toward the unknown. Together, they faced a universe no longer divided by weapons and wars, but united in the endless adventure of creation and discovery. Humanity had fulfilled its purpose, but their story, and the galaxies, was just beginning.